Okay. So, hello and welcome. Could you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi everyone. I'm honored to be part of this call. So my name is Olivia Ward. I'm a social entrepreneur based in Nairobi, Kenya, with over 4 years experience, having founded um, two previous startups. So in a nutshell, that's what I do on a full-time basis. I'm a social entrepreneur. I run an organization called Econacy. So it was kazi, but we pivoted to Econacy. So that's what I'm doing full time.
So, can you tell us a bit about the story behind Econacy as it is now?
So Econacy is a sustainable leather brand in Kenya. So we make plant-based leather from pineapple pulp waste. So how Econasi came about to be, I was inspired to start this venture after the death of my uncle, who had worked in the leather industry for over 3 decades to lung cancer as a result of breathing in toxic chemicals used during the leather tanning process. So, having witnessed that, I was inspired to create a bio-based and sustainable material that doesn't harm leather tannery workers and is sustainable to the environment. So that's what we've been working on since last year after we pivoted. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would be interesting to go back to the how you started, which was with pineapple waste, which was what was
Yeah.
called pine kazi, I suppose. How, why was it so particular that you started making shoes from pineapple waste?
So the whole aspect of using the pineapple waste was way back in 2018 when I was in first year as a business student. So it was on a business excursion kind of trip where we happened to go to Thika, which is one of the largest pineapple producing regions here in Kenya. So on our way, we happened to see huge hectares of pineapple plantations, which was actually the first time for us to see how pineapples grow. So it was quite fascinating. So on the way, we noticed that there were portions of burnt land in the middle of the farms, and a lot of the plant matter was pushed on the roadside. So when we stopped and inquired from the workers who were attending to the farm, they told us that after every harvest, because the farmers need to prepare for the next planting season as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
The only viable way to deal with that post-harvest waste is either to burn it or spray chemicals so that it can decompose. But burning was the most viable option because it's fast. So when we saw that, and of course, being business students and entrepreneurs, we saw an opportunity of how we can start utilizing this waste. So it was now after that trip, we started researching about plant-based waste and how we can best utilize it. So that's when we realized that we can actually get plant-based fibers from pineapple leaves. Yeah, so that's how we started dealing with the pineapple leaf fibers. Then we experimented and created a textile that was resembling canvas. And so we were like, okay, we can use this material to make very good fashion products. And so we started with shoes back then. Yeah.
That's so awesome to hear because when it comes to innovation and
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, there's always this part of you as an individual that is infused into your business. So you sort of have
Yeah.
like historical side to it. You saw your
Yeah.
uncle in leather and
Mhm.
then how you were able to merge pineapple waste to transform that into making shoes and fashion. I think there's always something in one's background that
Yeah.
infuses and creates that idea. Because if
Yeah.
I see pineapple waste, I do not think fashion would be my next solution. I'd probably think about sports. How do I make something that can be used for sports? So
Yeah.
that has to be quite
Mhm.
noted, right? So what are
Yeah.
the challenges that you faced in the early stages of your business,
Mhm.
especially as a woman living in Africa? How did you overcome those challenges?
Mhm. Yeah, so the first, and I think this challenge cuts across all female entrepreneurs, especially Black stroke women of color. Access to finance was quite difficult, considering manufacturing is considered a male kind of industry. So raising funds was quite difficult. Accessing the right infrastructure to be able to convert this waste into something useful was also quite a challenge, especially in aspects of R&D. Considering Kenya is still a developing country, and we are not that advanced in research technology. So that was a challenge. And of course, again, being young, when we started Kazi way back, I think I was just 18 years old, very young, naive. You don't know a lot about the business industry. So when you stand in front of an investor or a potential donor, they will look at you like, I don't think you can be able to, pull this
True.
company or the business idea off because you're too young, you don't have the experience. So that was a challenge. So to overcome these challenges, one, of course, we did not give up, because if we allowed, those the negative comments and the sentiments to get to us, then I don't think we would make the progress we have made to date. So of course, the first step was just to encourage, ourselves, and we just told ourselves that what we are doing has potential to change the world. So we kept on pushing. We wrote a lot of grants to organizations that are very big in supporting green innovations. We participated in a lot of competitions, so that's how we were able to raise funding to at least kickstart the process of R&D and production. And we would also just go on LinkedIn, reach out to maybe experts in the field, people who are experts in material science or agriculture, and we would say, we are Kazi, this is what we are doing. And some of them were very open to assist. So that's just how we kept going. But challenges, of course, in the business world will always be there. So you, as an entrepreneur, it's just up to you to find ways of how you can overcome those challenges positively. Yeah.
Exactly. Creative ways to overcome
Mm.
challenges. But you did
Yeah.
mention something that's very poignant, and you said manufacturing is sort of seen as a male space. Why do you
Mhm.
say that? Is it a cultural thing? Is it a social thing? Or is it just how you feel about the space?
Mhm. Yeah, I think this it's a systemic issue that has been there from time immemorial. They're just industries that are considered like, if you're not if you're not a male, or it's not a male leading that innovation, then it kind of makes you, or makes your business rather, um um look like it's not authentic, if I may put it that way. And it's not just manufacturing. I think it cuts across tech industries. It's quite challenging as a female entrepreneur, because even in whether it's manufacturing or technology, females are taking, the back seat, or are taking roles in HR, marketing, even when they're the most qualified to lead a manufacturing or a tech role, because it's just a systemic issue that needs to be addressed. So I don't think we can be able to change that perception immediately. It's something that will take time, but I think with the conversations happening around the industry, big organizations like UN and UN Women, they are trying to champion for women to get into this spaces. So I think we're making the right we've taken the first step in moving to the right direction. Yeah, but we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's because of sentiments like this that made me focus on the kind of
Yeah.
research that I do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting to see that that is still happening in
Yeah.
2024, you know?
Yeah, quite unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. I remember
Yeah.
seeing a LinkedIn post you made about being in front of investors and pitching to them and then being
Yeah.
demoralized by the
Yeah.
responses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would also like to ask, like,
Mhm.
some of these investors who see you, especially when you were younger and you were pitching
Mhm.
this business idea, which was so innovative,
Mhm.
were they mostly male-based, female-based, or was it a general sentiment that came from both sides?
Um, I think it was more of a male dominated kind of panel. The female judges and investors were more optimistic. And they were really encouraging with their words, and their feedback was very positive. But on the other hand, not all investors, but a majority of the male investors, whom I considered kind of like the alpha males of the society. They were quite harsh, if I may use that word, in their feedback. But again, these are the challenges that we encounter on a daily basis when you're a female entrepreneur. So you just need to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to add to that, the research actually shows that if we have more female investors, a lot of these hurdles will be overcome. So we,
Yeah.
as women, we also need to then become investors. Uh,
Yes.
my next question then would be, in all of these challenges, what would you say was the biggest turning point for you, like that breakthrough moment for you guys?
Um, let's see. I think the breakthrough moment for us, despite all these challenges, was when we won it was like a student-led competition. So it was a regional final. We were the only black team, by the way.
Where was this?
Um, it was in Jordan, in Amman. So we were the only black team from an African university. All the other teams were like from these top US, UK universities. So it was a bit intimidating. And then we pitched our idea to the judges. We were shortlisted to the final six. We pitched in the evening round, and we won. So I think for us that was such a turning point, because it made us realize that as much as majority of people at that time didn't believe in our idea, there's always someone who will believe in your idea, because sometimes in life it just takes one person to believe in you, and to take a chance on you. So for us, that was a really big turning point, and it really encouraged us to keep moving, because we were competing against students from Harvard and Cambridge, and these guys are smart. They have, you know, the brightest faculty. They have access to research. So I mean, it was such an inspiring moment, and yeah, it just encouraged us to really keep going despite the challenges that are there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody needs that push every now and
Mm-hmm.
then. So
Yeah.
we'll go a bit into the work you actually do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sort of like explain the process of turning pineapple waste, or I know now it's eco waste, into
Mm-hmm.
products that are sustainable for the fashion industry. Just give us a
Mm-hmm.
feel of that process.
Okay. So the first step, so whether you're if you want to make a textile, and when you're making leather, the process is different. So if you're making the textile, the first thing, of course, you need to do is get the waste either from the farm or small scale pineapple farmers, or if you're partnering with a big industry like Del Monte, whichever works for you. Then there's a machine that called a decorticator that is used to extract the fibers. So you put the fibers into the machine removes the upper green part, so what is left behind are thread-like fibers. So once you get those fibers, they undergo a process called degumming, which is just to remove the what is it called, like the lignin or cuticle part of the plant. And then the fibers are washed just to remove any impurities or any green matter that has remained. Then you can either decide to do wet spinning or dry spinning. Those are kind of technical textile terms, but yeah, you can either decide to do wet spinning or dry spinning. So you spin those fibers into a yarn. So that yarn is what is fed into either a loom machine or an electric weaving machine. So it's weaved, and then that's what creates a textile. So once you get that textile, for now, the texture of the pineapple fibers is ideal for things like bags and shoes. It's not quite ideal for clothes because of the rough texture, but there's research going on in the industry on how you can cottonize those fibers so that you can spin it the way cotton is spun. So, but that is process is still ongoing. Then for the leather part, I won't go into too much detail because of intellectual property issues, but generally for us, we chose to approach it with a scientific kind of approach. So employing biotechnology and bioengineering, we extract cellulose from the pineapple pulp. So for the pulp is the skins and the crowns that are usually left behind after you cut the pineapple fruit. So for the leather, that's what we use. So we extract the cellulose, then using bacteria, we ferment that cellulose, and then we get a material that feels like leather, which can be used to make different products again, like shoes, bags, and belts. So generally, that's the process. Before you get to both of these processes, there's a lot of research and development work that is required, which might take a bit of time, depending on your access to lab facilities and financial resources. Yeah, but in a nutshell, that's just how it works.
It sounds very, very interesting. And I'm curious to know if it would be different if I decide to use a different food material, a different biomaterial to do that.
Um, yeah, the results you achieve might be different depending on what you're trying to make. So different plant-based materials will give you different results. So for example, for us, the reason why we chose to use a pineapple waste byproduct is because it has a very high cellulose content, which is it's a natural biopolymer. So when you use pineapple pulp or any pineapple derived bioproducts, you literally reduce the amount of chemicals you use in your process because the product itself is a natural biopolymer. So you can literally use any plant-based material to make whatever, whatever product you want, but what you need is access to the technology, the resources to build it, and you have to do quite a number of lab tests just to determine if the plant matter you're using has the right technical requirements that you need, and also you need to look at availability of the plant-based material that you want to use. So for example, if you're using maybe avocado pits, and those avocado pits will pose a challenge to source, then that won't be a viable material to use. You have to look at something that is readily available and you can get it in large quantities. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So the whole steps you talked about right now, that's a lot of steps, and I'm sure a lot of research and development has gone into that.
Yeah.
But as a business, what steps have you taken to ensure that your production process is environmentally friendly and sustainable?
Mm-hmm. So for us, as a business, the first and most important thing we've done is just to do like a supply chain audit. So starting with where we source our raw materials, how those raw materials are transported, how we handle the waste, what kind of machinery we are using to produce that waste, and also when it comes to production of the product, are we using sustainable methods that are environmentally friendly? So for us, that's what we did. We literally looked at various steps that we can do as a business. Which production method will be more viable? Are we going to use electric machines or solar-based machinery for our production? So we literally did a needs assessment and did a thorough audit just to make sure that our process is environmentally friendly. Of course, there are still processes that emit some amount of carbon,
Yeah.
because by the time you get to a net zero kind of process, it takes a lot of time, and you really need to have you need to be well funded for you to achieve a net zero kind of production process. And considering that we're a small startup, that will take quite some time, because even big companies like Nike, they predict to be net zero in the entire production process by 2050. And for them, they have all the resources, they have all the financial backing. So for us, we do our best as a startup to ensure that our processes don't harm the environment, and we are constantly researching on how we can reduce our carbon footprint, and even maybe work with the big research organizations or companies to see how we can partner together just to, reduce that carbon emission. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very well put. Speaking of partnership, I think the most important question for me now would be, how did you get your first customer? How did you make your first sale?
Mm-hmm. So for us, our first sale, it was mainly friends, our lecturers from school. those are the people we really considered early adapters. So we just made like probably 10 pairs, and we just sold it to our family members. So, you know, they would wear the products, and then they will tell their friends, by the way, do you know this shoe has been made from pineapple waste? And people will get so excited, and you know, they will want to know how it's possible, who is doing it, where can I buy the product. Yeah, so that's for us, that was a strategy
Yeah.
that
For,
we adopted, a bit of social media marketing. Yeah.
for those first 10 pairs, I'm sure you didn't have all the machinery that you do now. So
Yeah.
how did you get it done? Was it very manual? Can you just paint a picture of how that happened? And I'm sure you have co-founders and how that turned out.
Yeah. So for the first pair, it was entirely manual, and it was quite hectic.
Yeah, I believe so.
From extraction of the fibers, we literally did it by hand, and that took us like almost 2 weeks. Then for the spinning, we also spinned by hand. The weaving was done by hand.
Wow.
And also like assembling of the shoe was done by hand, because we didn't have like you know, the right machinery. So yeah, we did everything by hand. It was very hectic, it was very tiring, but we didn't have any choice. So at least just
YouTube
to prove
videos.
that the concept
I'm sure
works.
you know how to do that before.
Sorry?
You use YouTube videos because I'm sure you didn't know how to do that before.
Yeah, we watched a few YouTube videos. We read a couple of PDF research documents on how to extract those fibers manually.
Wow.
And yeah, it worked, of course, after a few trial and errors, but it eventually worked.
Why did you push on after 2 weeks of something so hectic? Like, what was it behind you? What was that force that made you, I'm going to keep doing this. I see something valuable coming out of this. I want to change the world of this. What was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for us, we kept on pushing because we saw the potential of this business to succeed, not only in an African context, but also globally. Considering the world right now is moving towards green products, greener production systems. So for us, we really saw a huge opportunity that this business can really succeed. Yeah, because for most African entrepreneurs, they just think about solving problems in an African context. They never really think about, you know, scaling their businesses globally. But for us, we really saw an opportunity to even partner with the big brands. Yeah, so that really kept us pushing to continue working on our idea.
Do you sell internationally right now?
Right now, we don't sell internationally because we ceased our production, and we stopped producing the footwear. So initially, we were like more of a B2C kind of company, selling products directly to customers, but we pivoted to become a B2B. So now we just sell the material to different fashion brands, because we saw there's an opportunity to create, you know, a larger impact. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would lead to the next question about
Mhm.
where do you see Econacy being in 5 to 10 years?
Mhm. So, in 5 to 10 years, I see this company becoming a global and leading supplier of sustainable leather, supplying to supplying and partnering with the big brands internationally. We don't want to be like a capsule kind of brand, just supplying material for a specific collection. For us, we want to be a major material supplier, and hopefully, you know, get pre-supply contract deals from the big brands. It will take some time, definitely, because B2B kind of business model is very different from B2C. Negotiating contracts takes quite an amount of time. But I think once you get into the pipeline of supplying these brands with your novel material, then I think it will be a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do have a very clear vision of where you want to be.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Africans who are
Mm-hmm.
aspiring to become entrepreneurial as well. Um, and then mostly they want to do that in the sustainability space.
Mm-hmm.
So, what advice would you give to those entrepreneurs as someone who has been there since she was 18?
Mm-hmm. So for entrepreneurs, for those who want to start something in the sustainability space, and just generally, if you want to, to start something positive that will help the community and the world, you need to start where you are with what you have. Don't start imagining that you can come up with an idea and in the next 1 year you have a big company like Nike. That will not happen. You have to go through the process. You have to fail, you have to learn, you have to go through the rejections. You have to, like, it's a constant process. You need a lot of patience. When you get a grant of $5,000, there's something that $5,000 can do for your company. What you need to start your business might be even $1 million US. But when you start with what you have and where you are, and you gain traction or you make progress, it's very easy to approach an investor and tell them, this is the amount of funding I've been able to raise, this is what I've been able to achieve, this is where I'm at. And with this funding, I can, it can help me reach this milestone. So start where you are with what you have. You need to be positive, because you're going to get a lot of no's. Some people will think the business you're doing is not even making any sense.
Mm.
But you need to keep going. You need to keep moving. Sometimes you can feel very discouraged. It will get to a point that you'll just be like, maybe I should just close this business and go back to employment or go get employed, because it can be super lonely, it can be super discouraging. But when you get to that point, find someone you can easily talk to. Go and do what you love. It could be, I don't know, playing an instrument, it could be playing a sport, just to relieve that stress. The pressure can get quite intense sometimes. So yeah, I think for me, that's the greatest lesson I've learned in this entrepreneurship journey. There's nothing like this amount of money is too small, or it's too large. Just start where you are with what you have. Go learning and embrace the process, and also give yourself grace as an entrepreneur. Allow yourself to fail, allow yourself to learn. And when you fail, don't look at it in a negative kind of view. Take it as a learning experience, so that when you're in such a situation in another time, you'll know what to do and you'll know how to navigate the situation. Yeah.
So a mindset of relentlessness,
Yeah,
resilience, activity,
exactly.
pushing through, and
Yeah,
every loss, it's actually
yeah,
an experience. Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
I, I know that those are all mindset skills, but
Mm-hmm.
as a CEO, I believe that there are also some skills that are not mindset based that
Mm-hmm.
helped you in your journey to building this business,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this sustainability space. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those skills. It could be also be an experience with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so apart from mindset, I think key skills you need to have as an entrepreneur, one, you need to learn how to network with people, and you also need to learn the art of negotiation, because every day you might be, you know, in a bus station, you might be in a restaurant somewhere, you just don't know who you'll bump into. So you need to learn the art of expressing yourself. You need to learn how to express what your business does in a very concise way that you know, someone can understand. You need to learn how to network, which was a skill I didn't have, because somehow I'm an introvert. So, you know, going out there, talking to people, it was really difficult for me because, you know, I'm just a person who was used to staying in the house. You know, I'm not used to those huge gatherings, you know, those networking events. It was really, really difficult for me. But I told myself, as the leader and the CEO, you need to go out there and talk to people, tell people what you're doing, because you just don't know who you'll meet. You don't know, you know, where your luck will fall. So you need to, you know, learn how to network, speak with different people, because in that process you'll also learn a few things or two, and also negotiating, because negotiating is not only for investors. Even when you're speaking to potential partners, you need to learn you know, the art of negotiating, because in this business world, it's a give and take kind of relationship. It's never one-sided. Both parties have to benefit. So you need to learn you know, how to negotiate business deals, partnership deals. Yeah, so these are the key skills for me that have worked. And you know, you need to keep learning as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I absolutely 1000% agree.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could go back in time, what is it that you would do differently about starting your business?
Mm-hmm. If I was to go back in time, I think I'll be more confident. I'll be more confident in,
Why
you
do you,
know, sorry.
why do you say so?
Um, because I think when I was starting kazi, I was very intimidated. I did not you know, I did not believe in myself. I did not believe in what I'm doing. I thought I wasn't good enough. But over the years, and from what I've seen, what I've learned, all successful entrepreneurs you know, are confident. When you hear them speaking, how they present themselves, when they're speaking about their business, they're very confident, you know. So I think for me, if I'll do anything differently, I'll be more confident when talking to people about my business and what I'm doing, because that's also very important when you're speaking to uh, partners or potential investors. If they feel or sense that you're not confident in what you're doing, then it will be very hard to convince them to invest in you. Yeah.
Yeah. So who has been your biggest inspiration on this journey?
Mhm.
Because for you to come out of your shell, I'm sure you've probably looked at one or two people and been
Mm.
inspired. Um,
Okay,
do
let's see. Sorry.
you have any?
um I think I don't have someone in particular that, you know, I was really looking up to, but I think there are few notable entrepreneurs in Africa that are, you know, quite inspiring. So in Kenya, I think I was really inspired by Wycliffe, who was he's the CEO of Bupas. Um, I think generally his journey, where he started, how he has grown, and how he runs his company. I think for me, he just inspired me, and he inspires me a lot. And above all, his humility. It's just it's mind-blowing, because for his company to raise, over $5 million in investment. He has partnerships with, the big telcos, Safaricom, and for someone to raise that amount of money, have a successful company, you would honestly expect them to have a certain, kind of pride. But for him, he's very humble. So yeah, so he inspires me that, as an entrepreneur, you also have to be humble if you really want to succeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Olivia.
Mhm.
Before you go, so
Mhm.
we ask you, how can our listeners support you? Where can we find your products?
Mhm. So you can support us, one, by following our social media pages. So on Instagram, it's eco_nasi Kenya, and on LinkedIn, it's Econacy. So you can follow social media pages, and also engage us through our website, www.econacy.com. If you want to partner with us for your next sustainability project, or you're looking for a novel material, if you're a fashion brand, if you're an interior designer, you can talk to us to see how we can work together. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So what's the next big thing for you guys that we should keep an eye out for?
So the next big thing for us, we were working on a few variations of our material, different patterns, different colors. Hopefully, we are talking to quite a number of fashion brands. So maybe keep out an eye, maybe for a collection or a partnership with a big fashion brand, or an automotive company, or a wristwatch company. We are remaining positive that at least one contract, or will go through. So yeah, that's what you should really look out for.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm so
Thank you too.
to share your story. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be so inspired to hear about
Yeah.
Dawn. And the fact that you started so young and you started in Africa, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
the world. I am so
Mm-hmm.
to be associated with you guys. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for your time. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.